Want to learn how to ride a scooter? I learned how to ride a scooter last year during my travels in South America and Southeast Asia, where motorized scooters like Honda Scoopers and other mopeds are the most common method of transportation. Now, I drive a scooter every day, in all weather.
Is learning to ride a scooter easy? Yes and no. Learning to ride an automatic scooter, like a Scoopy, is about as easy as learning to ride a bicycle. It can be done in one day. The main difference between learning how to ride a scooter and a bicycle is a scooter can go much faster, making it more dangerous. Urban riding, whether you're driving a scooter, bicycle, or even a car,
is also a totally different beast from learning where the brakes are located. Riding your scooter in a busy area with traffic from cars, trucks, and other scooters is very tricky. More so if you do not have prior experience riding in congested areas. I learned how to drive a car when I was 16. And then when I was 22 I started riding e-bikes to work on the packed streets of New York City.
Even with 10 years of driving experience, it took me months of driving scooters to feel confident driving my scooter on the road with cars and other bikes.
Riding a scooter if you do not know how to drive a car. In most places, you need at least an active driver's license to drive scooters and mopeds, and in some countries, you even need a specialized motorcycle license for driving scooters above 50 cubic centimeters. If you have never driven a car before, it will likely take longer for you to get the hang of driving a scooter because you need to obey the same traffic laws as cars do. Driving a scooter or motorbike is a dangerous activity, and while this video is meant to offer up some tips to make it safer, this vlog takes no responsibility for the actions of the readers. 20 tips for learning to ride a scooter. 1. Always wear your helmet. This goes without saying, but you need to wear a full coverage helmet if you're going to be riding scooters and mopes. Get into the habit of putting it on every time you put your key in the ignition, especially if you're going to be driving your scooter on streets with other bikers and cars. Also, if you're just learning, you might want to consider wearing elbow and knee pads as well as a helmet. When I first started riding scooters, I actually was pinned under my scooter going uphill and suffered a very nasty gash down my arm which elbow pads would have protected me from. 2. No, not all helmets are made the same. For driving a scooter you will want a full coverage helmet that has a plastic shield over the eyes and pads your entire head. Scooters and mopeds occupy a space between bicycles and motorcycles, and I frequently see scooter drivers with bicycle helmets driving around. I've even gotten scooter rentals before that have given me bicycle helmets. For driving a scooter, you will want to err on the side of caution and get a motorcycle helmet. It's important to wear a proper full coverage motorcycle helmet with an eye protector while riding your scooter. 3. Learn about the different types of scooters. A scooter is a non-descriptive phrase that kinda means anything from e-bikes, mopeds, and cutesy Vespas, all the way to motorcycles that can reach high speeds. Scooters are usually classified by CCS. CC stands for cubic centimeters, which is the size of the scooter engine. The classifications are loose, but generally 50 CCS and under are mopeds, over 50 CCS, 250 CCS are scooters, and 250 CCS plus are motorcycles. CC engine classifications vary by country. As an example of CCS to engine power, my Honda Scoopy scooter that I'm currently driving is 109 CCS, and I rarely drive it faster than 40 kmph, 25 miles per hour. 4. Always wear a GATT all gear all the time. It's important to be fully protected while driving your scooter. The common saying for this is a GAT or all gear all the time. This means full pants, a long sleeve shirt, closed-toed shoes, and a helmet. The first time I crashed my scooter I suffered road rash all over my left leg, ending where my jean shorts started. If I had been wearing pants, I would have had very few, if any, injuries from that accident. The easiest way to do this is to keep your gear, like a motorcycle jacket and possibly closed-toed shoes, in your scooter well so you'll always have it. You can always keep a jacket in your scooters well and put it on before going on a drive. This will also help with sun protection. 5. Know how to turn on your scooter. Turning on a scooter is much more complicated than turning on your car. You need to press the brake, located on your right handlebar, while pressing the ignition starter. Here's the process of turning on your scooter. Sit down on your bike and lift the kickstand. This is very important. Your engine won't start if your kickstand is down. Turn your key all the way to the right. With your right hand, clutch your brake, using your thumb on your right hand, press the ignition while still clutching the brakes. Ease up on the brakes amp, with your right hand, use your palm to start the gas. Ease up on the brakes, now you're driving. This movement to turn on your scooter is kinda complex, but you get the hang of it very fast. For some scooters, you need to hold both front brakes, right amp, left side, and also sometimes use your palm to start the gas a bit while the engine is starting. 6. Know where your turn signal is. Your turn signal is a switch on the left side of your scooter, next to your lights. You can flick it right or left depending on which signal you wish to turn on, and after you've made your turn you can press the switch like a button to stop your turn signal from blinking. 7. Know how to accelerate. You can accelerate your scooter by turning your palm on the gas handle on the right side towards yourself. The more you turn it, the more gasoline is dumped into the engine. If you're driving a higher powered scooter, 150cc or above, it will pick up and accelerate very quickly, so please be careful when accelerating on your scooter. 8. Learn how to turn. You turn a scooter the same way as a bicycle, by gently turning the handlebars left and right. If you already know how to ride a bicycle, this motion will come naturally to you. 9.
Be wary going up hills.
The first time I truly wiped out on my scooter I wasn't even moving. I was driving up a steep hill and I stopped for 1 second to wipe my sunglasses. The steep incline caused my scooter to come unbalanced and topple over on top of me. These scooters can weigh like 200 pounds, so even though I wasn't even moving I suffered a nasty gash on my arm from the weight of the scooter digging me into the asphalt. Falling while driving up hill is much more common than you would think. Be very careful because steep angles make it harder to balance on your scooter. I've also seen people fall or get stuck on hills if they are trying to ride with more than one person. Your scooter might just not have the power to accelerate up a hill with the weight of 2 people. 10. Don't start out riding a scooter with more than one person. You can drive most scooters with a pillion, passenger, but if you're just starting out I wouldn't advise it. It's much harder to balance on your scooter with 2 people. If you do progress to riding 2 people at a time on a scooter, know that the heavier, larger person should always be the driver due to weight distribution. 11. Learn how to ride in remote locations. It's better to do your first few sessions on your scooter in a large empty parking lot, and then later in an uncrowded area while you're getting the hang of street driving. 12. Adjust your mirrors. Just like if you were driving a car, your side mirrors are just as important on scooters as they are when you're driving a car. Make sure to adjust your side mirrors before starting your engine every time so you can see when people are behind you or trying to pass. 13. Watch out for exhaust pipe burns. Most new scooters will have a plastic cover over the exhaust pipe, but even with this safety measure, people get burned while riding. The exhaust pipe gets extremely hot while you're driving, and getting burned is more common when you're pillion driving. I met a girl on the island of Siaga that was riding pillion on her partner's scooter and was burned so bad by the exhaust pipe she needed burn treatment, so watch out. 14. Know the difference between your left amp, right hand brake. Your scooter will have 2 hand brakes, one on the left and right handlebar sides. The left-hand brake frequently controls the back tire, and is the less powerful of the 2, while the right-hand brake controls the front tire and most of your braking power. When I crashed my bike in Bali, it did so because I clutched my front-hand brake too hard, coming down from too high of speeds, which caused my tire to slip out. You want to ease into a brake, always, rather than attempt a sudden stop. 15. Watch out for gravel amp, sand on the road. Gravel and sand in the road make it very slippery for your scooter. If you see any dirt in the road, be wary amp, cautious. 16. Make sure you're driving your scooter legally. It's important to know if you have the right license for driving your scooter. In many countries, this goes by CCS for example. Some countries' states say that you can use your general driver's license for scooters of 50 CCS or below, and anything above needs a special license. Other countries require you to register your scooter above a certain cc, like you would a car. Make sure to look into the requirements for your country so you're driving your scooter legally. 17. Get an international driver's permit if you plan on driving scooters abroad. Many countries I've traveled in, like Bali and Thailand, where driving scooters are popular with foreign tourists, also require an international driver's permit in addition to an active driver's license. If you plan on driving scooters during your travels abroad, you can apply for an international driver's permit before you leave your home country. It's usually an easy online process and costs around $50, and you should be able to do it all online. While driving abroad you will always need to have your international driver's permit physically on your person, so I recommend keeping it in your scooter well or wallet at all times. 18. Make sure you're properly insured. If you're not traveling, you can depend on your home insurance to cover you, but do know insurance is infamous for being voided in cases of people driving scooters illegally. Usually, this is because they're either not driving their scooter with the correct license, they are not wearing a helmet, or they are driving under the influence. 19. Learn how to kickstart your engine. This is a tricky one for new scooter drivers. If your engine dies, you will need to kickstart it using the lever located on the left side of your scooter. This isn't a problem that comes up often. In the past year I've maybe had to do this 4 to 5 times, but you need to learn how to start your engine with the kickstart lever so you don't get stranded in a remote location if your scooter won't start. I felt ridiculously awkward the first few times I had to kickstart my engine, but eventually, I got the hang of it. 20. Be wary of overconfidence. The first time I truly crashed my scooter was when I felt like I knew what I was doing, and I started driving more recklessly because of it. Even if you feel like you know what you're doing, there's almost no reason to ever speed or gun it, accelerate all the way, while driving your scooter. Remember, renting a scooter was easy, learning how to drive it was tricky part. How to ride a scooter. How long does it take to learn how to drive a scooter? You can learn the basics of how to drive automatic scooter in under 1 day, but it takes much more effort to learn how to navigate driving a scooter on the street once you add cars, pedestrians, and other scooters into the mix. If you do not already know how to drive a car, learning to ride a scooter will likely take as long as learning to drive because you need to obey the same traffic rules. What are the benefits of driving a scooter? There are many benefits to driving a scooter instead of a car. For first, it is cheaper, lighter, and more environmentally friendly than driving a car, especially if you are one person traveling. It's also easier to handle a scooter in areas of heavy traffic congestion, and on small windy roads because they are far smaller than cars. What's the most important thing to remember when driving a scooter? The most important thing to remember when riding a scooter is to always wear a full coverage helmet. Not only is it important for your safety, but it's also usually legally required for scooter drivers. For driving a scooter, you will want to err on the side of caution and get a motorcycle helmet. Thank you for watching until the end of my video. I hope it helps answer all of your questions regarding learning to drive a scooter. I learned how to ride a scooter while traveling in countries in Asia where it's the most common method of transportation. Just to recap, while learning the mechanics of riding a scooter is easy, navigating driving a scooter on the street with cars, pedestrians, and in congested areas is quite difficult. It might take a while to get the hang of driving your scooter on urban streets, and I highly recommend learning and practicing in remote locations like empty parking lots before venturing out onto the road. Ultimately, the most important thing when you're learning to ride a scooter is to always wear a helmet and make sure it's a quality one that offers full coverage and an eye protector. Good luck learning to ride your new scooter, and stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. I hope see you soon.